Hello YouTube world, Mac Daddy 191181 here with the Shade Tree Survivalists. Today I want to discuss once again personal camouflage. Now here recently I got the new movie Lone Survivor, and before I get started on this I want to say first and foremost, nothing I say is meant to be derogatory toward any of our members in our armed forces. I think those guys and gals out there give up their leisurely civilian life and all the mundane bull crap that goes with it, along with all the fun, of course, to serve our country in foreign places and here in the United States for very little pay, and in this damn day and age with the libtards of the universe in control, very little appreciation. So right off the bat I want to say thank you very much for your service. No matter what service, I don't give a damn if it's the Coast Guard, the Air Force, the U.S. Navy, the Marine Corps, the Army, National Guard, whatever the case may be. Does not matter to me. Thank you very much for your service. Now, on to the subject, personal camouflage. If you have seen the movie Lone Survivor, you saw that this four-man Navy SEAL recon team went into the mountains of Afghanistan to do surveillance on this particular village because there were some very nasty Al-Qaeda or Taliban characters in there, and they wanted to find this one particular fella and pop a cap in his ass along with his men. I've been talking a lot the last couple of days, so I'll probably be clearing my throat quite a bit. I'm just about to the point where I'm almost hoarse, which I know is a shock. It's amazing to some people who know me, because I talk all the damn time. If you've watched the movie Lone Survivor, you will see they had the antiquated desert camouflage on from the Desert Storm period, as well as woodland camouflaged body armor. And they had camouflaged their rifles with spray paint and so forth. And that was pretty much it. Now this is the thing, when you make a movie, there is something called artistic license. You want to be able to easily differentiate the faces of the actors. So it may not be 100% accurate as far as how they were in combat. So that's my first disclaimer, well, my second disclaimer. But I noticed in the movie there was absolute total disregard for personal camouflage as far as trying to break up their outline. Alright? Camouflage is designed as a base layer. Now some people think you can get this these different types of camouflage pattern, especially this new multicam, and you can walk out in the middle of wherever and stand there and you'll be absolutely cannot see you. Well, number one, movement will give you away faster than anything else. But number two is your shape. Alright? There is no such thing as the absolute perfect camouflage. Okay? Even a ghillie suit, if you're not laying exactly where the color scheme that you have adopted for your ghillie suit works best, then you're going to stick out like a sore damn thumb. It will, to a trained observer, someone who knows what to look for, you stick out like a sore damn thumb. Alright? One of the subjects I never covered in my camouflage video series is your smell. Okay? The folks that discovered this SEAL team were goat herders. I would not be surprised if some of the goats smelled them before the actual herders themselves found them. But regardless, they got found. They were discovered, and the events that followed were a testament of how tough Navy SEALs truly are, because I can assure you they wore the damn Taliban out, but they were eventually overwhelmed. But a lot of it had to do with the terrain, and a lot of it had to do with the fact that they were all injured severely. Every single one of them were shot multiple times. Probably had plenty of fragmentation wounds from fragmentation grenades and so forth. And then, of course, falling off the side of a freaking mountain, that tends to injure folks too. I just wonder if they'd have had personal camouflage on, local vegetation on their uniforms and their equipment, and had done something to mask their smell, their from the animals, because animals have such sensitive noses and hearing, if not necessarily eyesight. In the wild, a goat would have to rely on its senses to survive. All right, a billy goat's a pretty tough animal if you let him headbutt you, but if you got a couple of coyotes at him at one time, he can only defend in one direction at one whack, so he's going to go down. So the best thing for him is to hear them coming or smell them coming first. So those animals, they have heightened senses that us people don't. But even then, Americans eat different things than Afghanis. Okay, your body odor is completely different to that of someone who's a local, who's been eating the same type of foods all their life. And you're eating MREs, and with all the preservatives and so forth they have in there, I would imagine you probably have some gas. All right. God knows I have enough gas without having to eat an MRE. But the point of this video is simply this. You cannot neglect that. Okay? I am currently producing a video on my M14 rifle, and I explained in this video that this fancy camouflage scheme that it took me hours to apply to my rifle is the base coat only. Okay, it's the base coat. All right, it is not intended to be the only thing on the rifle if I'm in an actual combat situation. Okay. As time goes by and time allows, I am developing different sleeves. That's what I like to call it. To just slip right over the rifle, tie on without it interfering with the action, to disguise the outline of the rifle. Okay. Because there are not very many straight lines in nature, period. They're not shiny. They're not, there's just it'll stick out if you know what you're looking for. The round hole of a scope or a red dot sight or something of that nature, that brown black hole will stick out like a sore thumb to somebody who knows what the hell they're looking for. A trained sniper, or someone who truly understands field craft, will see it in a friggin' heartbeat. Someone who has understands not to look at the bush, but through the bush, under the bush, behind the bush, or the trees, or the vines, or whatever the case may be. The garbage in a city setting, to look behind it, through it if possible, all right, into the shadows. Most people cannot see the forest for the damn trees. They just see what's right in front of them, and they don't try to look through it, beyond it, to see what is hiding in it. Okay? But it's someone who's done this for their entire career, who has been in multiple engagements with people who really intend to put them in the hurt locker. Now, as loath as I am to give any credit, any way, shape, or form to any of our enemies, former enemies or current enemies, you look at the Japanese soldiers who used personal camouflage to fight in the jungles of the South Pacific, and they really did a good job. One soldier holding up an entire freaking platoon or a company or more, simply because he can't see where the hell he's at when he takes his shots, and his shots are effective. Same thing happened to us in the Vietnam War. These guys had some of the best personal camouflage, and they would cut vegetation as they're walking along, put it on, take it off as it wilted, so forth, and they were very good infantrymen, small units, because they believed in that. And if you cannot see your enemy, you are in the friggin' hurt locker. the Chinese, when they came into the war in Korea, our guys could not ever find them. All right. And now I've never seen any photographs where they had personal camouflage on them, but they had to have had it. We had the Air Force and the Marine Corps and the Navy aircraft flying over, recon units flying over trying to see what was ahead of our forces. They never saw them. Now, how the hell is it that you can hide 600,000 men in such a way as to when they finally break down and attack your forces, they can concentrate so much of their manpower in one place to hit your line in such a way as to just roll right over you like a freaking steamroller, and you never see them? Do you understand what I'm saying? Personal camouflage should not be considered a waste of time. It should not be considered, well, it takes too much time. It should be considered an absolute freaking necessity. All right. Don't get into the thinking of, okay, well, I'll make a ghillie suit. Well, as you walk from the woods to an open meadow or a pasture or into a city, your camouflage will continually change unless you're in the deep dark woods the whole time or in an open area the whole time. You may have to take it off one type of vegetation and add another one. A ghillie suit, you have to know where you're going, what type of terrain you're going to be dealing with in order to make your ghillie suit suited for that terrain. Because if you're in a field of bright green grass and you have on tan and brown and dark greens or whatever the case may be on your ghillie suit, when you crawl out there, it's going to be like a big sign from anybody above you on a hill saying, "Here I am." Right? Your camouflage must fit that area. I saw a video online, and I don't remember the man's name, but he had some of that new multicam, and he just thought it was the greatest damn thing since sliced bread. He was up in northern Washington State, and he did videos where he was standing out in front of the camera. You know, he'd do a time, set the timer on his camera or whatever, and he'd step out there and he'd just stand there, and it would video him, and it was like a big sign, "Here I am." Big sign over here, "Here I am." Big sign over here, "Here I am." Didn't do shit for his outline. All right, and he was standing where the light could hit him in a lot of the shots, and it just glowed. It's like the freaking desert camouflage they're using in Afghanistan now, the digital pattern. You take it here and put it in these woods where it's so freaking dark and it's so light, bam, you stick out like a sore thumb. If you take my dark BDUs that I normally wear, the old NATO, well, not NATO, but the U.S. military woodland camouflage from the 80s and 90s, if you take it into Afghanistan, in most of that country, and you set it in there and it just says, "Here I am." All right. But if you use any sense and you understand that your clothing or your paint scheme on your rifle, whatever the case may be, is your base, and that is it. It is not designed, even though the designers, the engineers, whoever the hell comes up with all this crap, they think, well, you can just walk right out there and you'll blend right in. Well, they're not experienced in the woods. They don't understand how the crap works. It's your outline, it's movement that will give you away faster than just your color. But the colors, the way it is shaped, will assist you so much, it's not even funny. The head, the neck, and the shoulders will give you away faster than any damn thing else. You got to break up that outline. All right. And now I've done some camera tests where I had the camera mounted to my rifle, and I was walking through, and I didn't have any personal camouflage on my face. Any camo paint on my face. I didn't have my hood on. I didn't have any foliage on me. And the idea was to see what the shot would look like coming off the rifle, not necessarily to be camouflaged. All right. Your clothing, the paint scheme on your rifle, your equipment is your base layer. You add your local vegetation. And if there's no vegetation, you're in a desert and there's very, very little vegetation. And if you put a vegetation that is there on you, number one, it may hurt you, cactus. Or number two, it may just make you stick out like a sore damn thumb. So then you've got to get colored cloth, rip it, shred it, whatever the case may be, and actually make a ghillie type arrangement on you that you can change as you go. But what is your life worth? What is it worth to complete your mission and come home with all your men? What is it worth to destroy America's enemy and you stay alive and come home and celebrate what America is? It's not a waste of time. It is serious matter. And if you're a true professional, that's something you should study up on and you should really think long and hard about. Because many instances, especially special forces, you're almost always outnumbered by the enemy. You're almost always on their turf, and you're almost always way the hell out of artillery range or air support range in some cases. All right, circling AC-130 all day long is a dead giveaway that you're in their turf, on their turf. It's not a waste of time, and you should not consider it such a pain in the ass that, well, it's not worth the time and effort to do it. Just gonna have to change again in an hour. Watching your friends die around you because they were discovered, seen by the enemy, I think it's worth your damn time. Practice this, ladies and gentlemen. Practice it. Learn how to do it. Okay? This is Mike Daddy 1911A1 with part 500 million of my Camouflage series. Please learn how to do it. Stay alive and healthy for your families and yourself and your friends. Thank you very much for watching.